immediately text him and I say, I need to talk to you. And he sent me a quick message saying in class. And I sent him a quick message, I'm pregnant. He called me within seconds. Okay, so hey you guys, welcome back to What You Say, Dante. So I'm sure you guys saw by the title that today's video is going to be very personal, very transparent, but I hope that people who can relate, or women who can relate, who are going through the same thing, that it's deliverance and freedom for you, just as I had to get deliverance and freedom from it as well. And also it will shed some light on the way society is trying to portray abortion, and it's not okay. So we're gonna really get into some things dealing with this topic. Was dating him in high school, my junior year, his senior year. He graduated. We broke up, and we still kept messing around with each other. Okay, I never stopped messing around with him, although we had broken up. I was really in love with him. I think I was infatuated with him. Like, I thought he was the closest thing I was gonna get to Chris Brown at the time. So that tells you, like, he was just everything to me. And so yes, so I was always on again, off again with him throughout high school, throughout my senior year in high school, and then I went to college my freshman year at USM, and I still was always on and off again with him. I never stopped messing around with him or having a relationship with him. One time I went back home to, we were on I would say a break, maybe a fall break or something. And I went back home, and he was back home, and he was having this little party at a hotel with his friends. And so I went to go visit him. And so, saw him, hanging out with him. Before I left, we had relations, and that was the day. That was the day. I didn't know that was the day, but that was the day. So anyway, time goes by. I go back to Hattiesburg. I'm going back to USM. I'm a dance major at the time, you guys. I'm a freshman in college, a dance major. I still have my own life at Southern Miss. I'm really just trying to learn how to be independent. I'm really trying to get used to the freedom that I have, being at my mom's house. And so I'm just living my life. And I go, before I had went back to Southern Miss, I had got a checkup. And so, no. I went back home maybe a month or so later, and I had went to get a regular checkup, and the doctor said, well, you're pregnant. And I said, no, I'm not. Not me. Not me. Doctor said, yeah, you're pregnant. And I said, I don't feel pregnant. How could this happen? I'm like, can I do another test? Like, I can't be pregnant. Like, I'm really hysterical because I'm like, I know I'm not pregnant. Like, this is unheard of. I'm just out of my parents' house. I just became free. I'm just becoming a freshman in college. I can't be pregnant. She was like, no, I'm pretty sure you're pregnant. She said, and what we're going to do is we're going to go on and get you set up, give you some prenatal vitamins, and we're going to get you set up with, your regular, the regular gynecologist, to start you on this journey. And my heart had went to my stomach. And I was really confused, okay? I'm like, this is not life, okay? Why me, okay? And then I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm about to be a statistic. I'm still super young and I'm already having a baby. I just got to college and I'm already pregnant. Like, Dante, why? You know better. You know, I'm just really, all these thoughts going through my head. I finally talk to him again and I tell him that I want an abortion. I made up in mind I'm getting an abortion. And like, mind you, you guys, I know this was not of Christ. This is not of God. This is not right. But I'm thinking about my life and how this is going to affect my life and what other people are going to think. So I'm thinking about what other people are going to think and how this is going to affect my life and how this fits in with my life. And when I evaluated those three things, the baby didn't fit. And so I needed to get an abortion. It didn't matter about morals. It didn't matter about the consequences. I need to get an abortion. So I told him I'm getting an abortion. And he was like, no, wow, no, like, you're not getting an abortion. You know, he did not want me to get an abortion. He was not for the abortion. And so I'm like, you know, this is my body. I'm the one who has to carry this baby. I'm the one who's gonna be greatly affected, who's always gonna be with the baby. We're not even together. You know, I'm just saying all the bad qualities about him and why I should not have this baby. And I'm young, I'm a dancer, I just got to college. I'm telling him all these things and I don't wanna have a baby. I'm getting an abortion, whatever. So we get off the phone, I'm very mad, and I'm texting him, telling him, you know, you should not be deciding what's best for me and my body. You have no right to decide what's best for me and my body. And so I'm thinking I don't have no money. Okay, I'm a broke college student at this point. Okay, how am I gonna pay for this abortion? So I'm telling him, you don't have to pay for it because I don't have any money. I have no way to get no abortion. And I'm telling him to pay for it and he don't even want me to have it. But I didn't care. I wanted to get it done. So I'm talking to my friend girl. My friend like, okay, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. You know, right now, you know, this baby is a fetus. Okay, it's not even a baby right now. Okay, it's like it's almost an alien. Okay, it's not even a human being. So you're really not killing. It's a fetus. So, you know, don't pressure yourself. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get the money somehow. We're thinking like, I got to have this abortion. She's ride or die with me, trying to help me figure out how I'm going to make this happen. And he finally, so actually days go by. I'm started telling him I need to have an abortion, you know, before it's too late. And he really not responding to me, trying to ignore me. And when he do respond to me, he says, okay, I'll go on and pay for it, whatever. He says, okay. I scheduled an appointment and me and my friend, early that morning, we head down to the abortion clinic. Before I go, I meet him in the town where the abortion clinic is at. And he gives me the money. And he really don't say much to me. I can tell he's disappointed. I can tell he was hurt. So he gave me the money. I get to the abortion clinic and I see all the aggressive Christians who are standing out there with their signs saying that I'm gonna go to hell because I'm getting an abortion. They threw a little fetus baby doll in the car. And I just still keep walking up, and in the inside, I'm just like, oh my God, like, why am I going through this, Jesus? Why did you allow me to get pregnant? Like, I'm just like so just upset that I am literally going through this. Like, I would have never fathomed that Dante is going through this type of situation. So me and my friend, she just like, don't even look at them, you know, and they're just like, you're gonna go to hell, and screaming at me, yelling at me for killing the baby and stuff like that. And so I go to my consultation and they tell me everything that's going to happen. They take a scan, a sonogram of my stomach, and I see the picture of the baby in my stomach, y'all. When I saw that picture of my baby in my stomach, that's when I just started to feel like, oh my God, you know, Dante, do you really think you should be doing this? Like, is this really the right decision? I really started second guessing at that moment, is this the right decision that I should be doing? And I get in the car with my friend and I'm like, and I see the little fetus baby and I'm crushed, I'm crying. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I didn't even, y'all, I couldn't even think straight to even decide if this is right or wrong. Like, it was so many emotions going up and down, and I'm just like, you know, oh my God, am I gonna go to hell? Jesus, do you hate me? But I don't want this baby. I'm not ready. I want to be this dancer. I don't have money. I'm not even with him. He's sleep with so many other girls. He's not faithful. He's not this. He's not that. And I just could not process a decision. I couldn't even make out a sentence in that moment. All I could really do is look at that baby. And so my friend was like, don't think of it as a baby. It's a fetus. And I'm not upset with her for doing what she did, because she was only speaking from what she knew how to do and how she knew how to be a friend to me. We both were ignorant to a lot of things in that moment. We both were young. We both were ignorant. And she was only thinking of how to support me the best way she knew how. And she knew morally, morally and spiritually, I was feeling sick, because I'm like, yo, this is my child that I'm about to kill. And so she had to reassure me that it wasn't a baby for real. It was just a fetus. It didn't even have a heartbeat. It doesn't even have a brain, you know. So I'm not killing a baby. I'm killing a fetus. It's not really, you know, it's not a human yet. And so that's what I kept telling myself. Okay, that's what I was telling myself to help me cope with the fact that I'm killing my baby. Okay, so before I was getting ready to do it, I was starting to second guess. I was starting to not want to go to that appointment to actually have it done, the procedure done. And the reason why is because, for one, I saw that sonogram, and then one day, one of the mornings that I was taking a dance class, it was a really intense dance class, I went to go get some water, and I felt my heartbeat, but then I felt like, in my mind, I felt like I felt my baby heartbeat. And I stepped back like, you know, like this. Like, I'm not lying. I really feel like I felt my baby's heartbeat. And I stepped back like this. And I was like, you know, like, Dante, what are you doing? Dante, do you know what you're doing? Like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I felt like it was a part of me. Like, it was in me, which was, and it was a part of me. But I actually had the feeling of, like, this is my child inside of me, and I'm getting ready to kill it. So the next day, I go to the clinic. They took me to the back. I think they checked my vital signs and stuff. And there was other girls there. I saw other girls. I met other girls who had gotten an abortion maybe 3 or 4 times. And I'm just like, yo, why am I even in this situation? Why am I even surrounded by this? I know better than this. Like, but I'm like, I'm here now. And when it was time for me to go, I was so nervous. I laid on the table, and they immediately started the procedure. And I remember it was like this monitor stand or whatever beside me, and it was so painful. It was so painful feeling them take my child out of me. I just feel like they ripped my child out of me, you guys. Like, that was the most painful thing I ever been through, and the worst experience I ever been through in my entire life. Feeling my child being ripped out of me and feeling every pain. I felt every pain that is to feel. And I was crying. I was hitting the monitor, like they had to control my arms and stuff, because it was so painful. But I was really just torn to pieces that I made this decision to kill my child. And like, they were cleaning it up. I can hear the tools and the suction, and just even thinking about it, you guys, is so cringeworthy to me, because it's sad. It's a sad experience, and I just really went into a deep depression after that, because I knew what was right, and I still did. I still chose to make a selfish decision. I really didn't care about school. I was still dancing, but I just feel like I wasn't there. I was just living, but I really wasn't in my right mind. And I just feel like, God didn't love me anymore. I feel like I was really going to hell because I was a murderer. And I just got into what on the Get Out movie called a sunken place. I was in a truly sunken place, and I felt like my life was not going to get any better, and I felt like I didn't deserve happiness. And so I just tried to mask it with being funny. Dante. It kind of made me have a hard exterior, a wall up, trying to protect myself against other people. And I just feel like I was a statistic. I was so worried about being a statistic by being pregnant that I became a statistic with having an abortion. So I was just so mad at myself. And it took me, I would say, my junior to senior year is when I got deliverance, and I started going to this church called The Real Life. Loved the church, loved the pastor. And so he called me and my friend was at church one day, and he called us to the altar, and he said that God just wanted to break chains off of us, and we were in bondage, and he wanted to break chains off of us. And as soon as I walked up there, I started crying. Like, I could not, it was uncontrollable. Like, the Holy Spirit was just moving in me and around me, and I started crying, and I just started breaking down, and I just was yelling and crying out to God, because I was so bound up by the decision that I made, and by the fact that I had an abortion and killed my child. I just was so broken. I was so broken. I was so lost. And I didn't tell none of my family. I didn't tell my mom and dad for years. So I was just dealing with this all by myself, I felt. And I just cried, and God just really like freed me. Oh my God, that day was the first day I felt light. I had been walking around feeling heavy for 3 years after that. And that day, I felt the chains being broken off of me, and I felt like God had forgiven me, and I felt like I had forgiven myself. And man, that was a game changer for me. That was actually a life-changing moment for me, because I felt like I could breathe again. So after that, it was on towards great and better things, with building a better relationship with Christ and basically having rehabilitation of my spiritual and emotional and mental health. And that was the start of that. Me finally being broken free and accepting what I did and forgiving myself for what I did, and know that God had already forgiven me. He just wanted me to come to Him and repent. And it was on the road to redeeming myself. And getting healing of all the wounds that I had and scars that were open. I told who would have been my baby's father, I told him, I said, this is my body. You can't decide what's my body. I'm the one who has to carry the child, not you. You shouldn't have a decision in the matter, right? That was a lie, okay? Because my child's father he should have had an input. I was all the way wrong. We can't have children without the man's sperm, okay? It's not going to happen. We need sperm to produce the baby. So they have every right to have an opinion on what goes on with having a child. Even though we carry the baby for the 9 months and we go through the hard work, yes, but we still need their sperm to produce the child. So he did have a right to have an opinion. He had every right to be emotional about it. He had every right to feel however he felt about me wanting to kill his child, because at the end of the day, it was not just my child, it was his child. Okay? So that was number one. Number two, I was thinking about what other people would think about me being pregnant at a young age, because I was still very young. It was my freshman year in college, so I think I was like 18 or 19 when I went to college. So I was caring about what other people thought about me. I was also caring about how my mom and dad and my family would disown me. When years later, I did tell my mom that I had an abortion. And I was crying. It was really emotional because I always wanted to cry to my mom and tell her what I did. I really wanted to tell her when it happened, but I felt like she was going to judge me and hate me and disown me for that. And when I told my mom said, all you had to do was tell me. She said, I would have loved that baby, and I would have loved being a grandmother. I would have helped you. You just had to tell me. You did not have to walk that alone. And I was crying so hard because I knew it was many nights I wanted to tell my mom. I wanted to go to an adult and I wanted help, but I was hiding it. And I was caring about them disowning me and believing the lies that the devil was telling me, when those same people would have helped me along the way and would have gave me wisdom and guidance, and I wouldn't have had to been wondering or assuming. And so assuming made me look like a fool and made me make a foolish decision. But two, I was worried about what other people think about me and how I was going to look, and that's the problem. A lot of times we always are searching for validation from people, and we care what people think, but people won't be there on Judgment Day. They won't die with us, and they won't be with us to hold our account for our sins when we meet our Maker. So we shouldn't be held under the influence or the light of what other people are going to think about us or what other people feel about us. People are going to talk about you whether you're doing good or bad. It's nothing you can do to make people love you more or love you less. They always are going to have an opinion. So you should never be seeking validation from people, because we are finicky. We are fickle. We love you one day and hate you the next. And so I hate that I was in bondage from the validation of people and want to be validated by people. That is one of the worst bondages to have, because you will always in your life not be free to live how you want to live because you care about what the next person thinks, which caused me to make a foolish decision. I was thinking about how it's going to ruin my career. It's a lot of women who've had children at a young age and they are boss moms. They are CEOs, okay? They are entrepreneurs. They are millionaires. They are doing big things, and they had a child at a young age. It didn't stop anything. If anything, it gave them greater ambition to want to work hard for the child that they have, to make sure that child does not live with not having what they want or not having enough of what they need. It's actually the push to make them work harder and fight harder to make it in life, to live their dreams out for their child. And basically, all the thoughts that I had about not keeping my child were very selfish decisions. They were very selfish thoughts. They were all about me and how it was going to affect me. I didn't care about how the child's father thought. I didn't care about what nobody thought. I just cared about me. It was very selfish. Very, very selfish. I didn't even think about the child that was in my stomach. For one, if I didn't want that baby, I shouldn't have did what people do. I shouldn't have had sexual relations, because that comes with it, and without a condom. I shouldn't have taken those risks if I didn't want to suffer the consequence of what happens when you take those risks. So if I was grown enough to do it, I should have been grown enough and woman enough to take care of that child. None of my decisions reasons of why I didn't want that baby were justified. They were all selfish. They were all about me. And not once did I ask God or pray to Jesus and see how he felt about it. I just knew that this was going to stop my life, and it was going to embarrass me. And actually, those 3 years of depression, I was embarrassed for the decision that I made. I still was embarrassed. But I was delusional at that time, and I couldn't make a decision on what I wanted to do, on what was really the right thing to do. I just cared about what I was going to look like and how it was going to affect me. It was just very selfish driven. And if I had the chance to do it over again, I would keep my child. I took a risk of having that abortion, of not being able to have a child. That is a risk right now that I'm living through. And I don't believe that. God, I know God is a healer, and I know that God's going to grant me a child. But I took that risk because those are some of the repercussions of having an abortion, is that it can mess you up internally, your uterus up for the rest of your life, and make you infertile, where you can't have a child. And so you have to think, well, what if one day I get married and my husband wants a child and I can't give it to him because I decided to have an abortion? So if I had to do it all again, I would have that child. I would have my child, okay? I would tell my parents. I would I would hold myself accountable and not run from my decisions and not take the easy way out. And I would be a stand-up woman, hold myself responsible and accountable, and I would have my child. So I speak to any girl out there who is in my situation, whether you're young, I don't care what happened. Trust God. He will make a way out of no way. Trust him. Be transparent with God. If it was out of a rape situation, you pray to God, you express to God your anger, and how when you think about this child inside of you, think about it, it's due to you being raped. You express it to God, and you say, God, but I trust you that you would turn something that happened you would make something ugly turn beautiful. You grow a rose through concrete. You make beauty from ashes. Strength from fear. So God, I trust that you are going to make a way out of no way in this situation. You're going to show me how to love my child, even though it came from an evil situation. And he will do just that. So I hope this was a blessing. I had a really good time being transparent with you guys. I love you, and until next time, be blessed, and I'll see you again on What You Say, Dante.